Well, one of the reasons sports can captivate crowds all over the world is watching elite athletes overcome injury or adversity or both to achieve. What gives them that grit to endure in the pursuit of their dreams? That's the focus of new research from the U of A. One of the researchers, Danielle Cormier, joins us for more on this. It's a fascinating topic, grittiness, Danielle. How do you define that?
Yeah, I think grittiness can be best defined as passion and perseverance over long terms, and in the case of these athletes, just something that keeps them going throughout their entire careers.
So as you study grit, how did you go about that and what did you learn?
Yeah, with this study here, we interviewed almost a little bit under 30 high-performance athletes and their coaches over several instances to find out what were kind of the ingredients, the playbook, if you will, to creating grit in sport, as well what was the outcome of being a gritty athlete.
And what did you find?
We found a couple of things with all the interviews that we did. In terms of those ingredients of being gritty, we found that it was really important to have a mix of course, wins in sport. That's what keeps us loving the sport, keeps us coming back. But also some setbacks too. It's really important to maybe grow the muscle that is our ability to persevere, especially when the stakes are lower, when we're maybe playing in grassroots or developmental sports.
Okay, so this has a lot of applications for kids growing up in sports, but also just people in everyday life becoming a little bit more grittier. How can people at home apply this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think really what led into kind of creating that grit through those positive experiences and setbacks is really growing a little bit of a winning mindset, if you will. So really thinking of successes as something that we created through our own effort, not just a medal around our neck or a trophy in the cabinet, but the other wins that we experience throughout our life. Maybe we finish a really big report that took us a long time. Maybe we get to travel for our jobs. But also seeing the setbacks and those losses in the real world as opportunities to grow, to get better, as opportunities to kind of move forward in a way that we're stronger.
There's certainly an element of happiness that comes from overcoming those losses, isn't there?
Yes, I think absolutely. I think in the broader well-being research, I think, of course, happiness is a really big key, but when we get through a setback, when we get through a loss, and we feel like we come out the other side better for it, I think we get closer to becoming the best version of ourselves, which is an important part of well-being as well.
Now, is there a downside of chasing grittiness?
What we found was grit in sport did lead to overall perceptions of success, but we found when athletes were really, really hyper-focused on their goals, almost obsessive, and I'm sure we all know athletes like that, and perhaps people in our lives too, we found that those individuals tended to burn out more frequently, experience more injuries, and be more isolated from other people just because they had their eyes on the prize so much.
So diversifying can also help in the pursuit of all this.
Yeah, I think a well-rounded sense of self-identity is really, really key to striking that balance. So not only seeing yourself as an athlete or a worker, but also seeing yourself perhaps as a son or a daughter, or as a really great partner, or as a hobbyist. Having a really well-rounded sense of self is really key to getting some more of the more positive aspects of grit.
Well, it is a fantastic and fascinating topic. Appreciate your insight here this morning.
Of course.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about Danielle's work, you can visit the University of Alberta's website.